Join Louisiana Right to Life in protecting the vulnerable as we share pro-life stories, insights, and news from the Pelican State. Welcome to the Preaux Life Pod.
Hey everybody, Ben Clapper here with Louisiana Right to Life. Welcome to the Preaux Life Pod. I hope you're all having a great 2026 so far. We're here in our New Orleans office. We got a big week, a lot going on this month in January. Whenever this gets released, right around is our pro-life galas in New Orleans and in Lafayette. We have our life marches. Make sure you join us at one of those life marches across the state. Check that out at lalifemarch.com. And of course, the National March for Life, which is going to be here in a couple weeks, and it's going to have a lot of high school students from across Louisiana going there to March for Life in Washington, D.C. It's going to be a great month. And to get it started here with our first podcast in the New Orleans office of 2026, we have a great guest of someone who is doing amazing work in the greater New Orleans area, specifically on the West Bank, to make a difference in the lives of women and babies and to save the lives of unborn children, is Hyuna Franklin from the West Bank Pregnancy and Family Care Center. Hey, Yana, how you doing? Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today.
This is great to have you join us. You came over from the West Bank to join us here in our New Orleans studio, so thanks for coming and making a little bit of time to join us.
Oh, it's an honor. Thank you for having me, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just so everyone gets to know you a little bit, you're the director, and make sure I get the name of the center right, the West Bank Pregnancy and Family Care Center. Is that the correct title? Or correctly, yes. Give me the full title. Is that right?
West Bank Pregnancy and Family Care Center.
Awesome. Great. And how long have y'all been around the center?
The center opened in 1995, so we celebrated 30th anniversary last year, and we've been there, not at the same location, but we've been there. We've been in existence helping moms and babies since 1995.
And that's great that you were able to say last year right there off the top with 2025. I mean, I don't think I would have been that good as you were at saying that, but 30 years in existence. That is awesome. And what's your position with the center?
I'm the executive director at the center.
Awesome, the director. And so tell me a little bit about the mission of the center, y'all's work, your services, just kind of the snapshot of the center.
Yeah, so we exist to save the lives of the unborn by walking alongside mothers and families facing unexpected pregnancies through education, counseling, and long-term support. We actually support moms until the youngest child turns 4, wow, which is something that a lot of people are not aware of.
Yeah, all the way till 4. So
4 years old.
Moms can come in with up to their children at 4 years old. That's a long time of walking with you guys and you helping them and really investing in their lives.
Right. And that's what we really wanted to do. We want to save lives through compassion and love, and be there for them. So when they come in for a pregnancy test, and that's when it starts, and if they want us to continue to walk with them, we want to be in their lives and be able to be the encouragement and the support and help that they are looking for.
That's awesome. After 30 years, I mean, maybe I shouldn't just ask you this, but there's got to be hundreds, thousands of women, I guess, and children around who've been blessed by your center.
Yes. I don't know the exact count, but I know the first year that I started working there, which was about 4.5 years ago, we were at about almost, I don't know the exact number. We were over 9,000 women, wow, that we have helped in the greater New Orleans region. And
I should not have put you on the spot by asking you that number, but that's close enough. 9,000 women. That's pretty awesome. You know, the work that y'all have been able to do. And you're located in Gretna, right?
Yes.
Very good.
On Lafayette Street.
Very good. Y'all have a beautiful, welcoming place. I've been there before. Y'all have done some great work under your leadership recently to make it even better. So congrats. So I look forward to hearing more about y'all's work, but let's take a step back first. And I just want to hear a little bit more about yourself, you know, your journey and your life. So is New Orleans your home, or did you come to New Orleans? And
yeah, so I'm not from here. I'm actually originally from South Korea. I came to New Orleans from South Korea because my dad went to school here for his PhD program. And as a teenager, I had no other choice but to come with my parents. I actually did fought against coming over here. I had very rebellious teenage life. I even told my parents to disown me.
Wow.
because I really didn't want to be here. It was like my friends were my world at the time, and I didn't want to be away from them.
Wow.
But I did come.
And you're here. And even though I'm sure it was a challenge, we're grateful that you're here.
And I am grateful. Just looking back, it was something that was necessary, and I'm happy to be here.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, I can't even imagine what that would have been like. You know, I only came from Alabama to Louisiana, so not very far of a journey.
Very different.
A very different journey indeed. So, okay, well, so you're here. You're the director of the pregnancy center, but as you shared with me before, pro-life has not always you wouldn't have always described yourself as pro-life, so I'm curious about your journey to the pro-life movement, to be pro-life yourself. So can you share about that?
Yeah, sure. So when I was in South Korea, we didn't really talk about abortion issue much, but I remember having this conversation as a teenager with my friends about erase it, and we were actually referring to baby. If someone gets pregnant, you can just erase it.
Wow.
That's a phrase that people use like it's a pencil trace. But I also don't remember not believing the baby in the womb is not a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where I got that idea. All I can think of is I remember some Korean shows touching on that subject very subtly, and that's how I saw abortion. It's something that you just do when you are in trouble with pregnancy. And in my life, there has been no one at the time talking about this issue. And I moved here, no one was talking about the issue. It was just something that nobody talks about.
Right.
And I went to actually Baptist seminary to do my undergrad, and I did graduate work there as well. And the first time I actually got exposed to this idea of abortion was in my Christian ethics class in the graduate program.
Okay.
At the time, I don't know what really changed my position other than the fact that, I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, and my Bible is my authority in my life. So as I was studying and thinking about this issue, I concluded in my essay, I read my essay saying that abortion kills baby, and therefore it's unbiblical. But in my life, because no one was talking about it, I just thought that it was just not happening. That it was very rare thing, that if somebody's considering it, that it's very rare. Obviously, if it's a big issue, everyone will be talking about it. It's what I thought. I remember going to protest one time during that same semester, maybe. I'm assuming that it may be something that y'all led.
A lot of them.
It was right before Planned Parenthood
Okay.
was about to come in. It was on the site. And the
That's-
first
that
time
was
that I
it,
did
yeah.
something, I remember protesting and took some pictures, group pictures afterwards. I felt good about doing something, and that was it.
Well, see, that was like the first step in the sense,
that was the first step, but it was very eventful. Nothing happened. I just moved on with my life, graduated from seminary, was doing youth ministry with my husband and working with high school girls all the time. And it was really a few years after being in full-time ministry that I heard, it was 2019, I remember January 2019, there was a news about New York law that was passed. And then people were saying, people like y'all were saying that babies are getting aborted up to the birth. And I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that cannot be true. Like, what are you talking about? So I looked up, and it just happens to be true. And that's when I really learned about how prevalent abortion has been in the lives of people, including the age group that I was working with. And it just really convicted me that I was so apathetic toward that issue, that really didn't think that it was a big issue. I just could never go back. So my story is that I got educated about the facts, and that changed me.
Wow. Well, you educated yourself almost, in a sense. You had to educate yourself because you weren't getting it from, like you said, people weren't talking about it. Us crazy people like us, maybe, who are out there talking about it, you weren't hearing it even from, Christian sources, at the time,
Yeah. And we were the Christian sources.
Yeah.
My husband and I were in ministry
Yeah.
on staff, and That was very eye-opening. The same year, I actually started talking about abortion in youth group with kids, kind of casually. But when we are doing like Bible study and we're talking about sin or temptation, I'll just kind of integrating the information and examples like, hey, you can actually be tempted because when you're even if you're Christian, you can be tempted
Of course,
when you're in hard and circumstances. And that's when our girls were opening up about unplanned pregnancy of their friends.
Wow.
And that's when I learned about Pregnancy Center because I was looking for resources. Okay, how can I help?
Wow.
I don't know where to go. And that's where I learned about Pregnancy Center work.
Wow. Well, I think so many times our cause and our movement is trying to educate people, is trying to shine light. And you're a reminder that we really got to keep doing that because we can't assume that everyone knows what we know about abortion, about the injustice of abortion, about how frequently it happens in America. And if we don't tell that to people, and if we don't encourage those authorities, schools, and other things like that, then there may be people like yourself who are going to miss, and maybe they would be motivated to do something about it otherwise, but they just don't know,
Right.
So I would almost not call yourself apathetic because it's almost like you were invincibly ignorant. You didn't know, you just thought it was a rare thing, I mean, how do we encourage, the church community and schools, what's something that, how can we make people know or, you see what I'm saying? Like what could have helped you to know more and to be motivated earlier, especially once you got into ministry?
Just looking back, when I went to that protest, there was one person from seminary who was, I think, actively involved in the Preaux Life movement, and he invited a lot of students. I think the people who actually know the truth about what's going on needs to be more vocal about their views and why it matters, and they have to be the ones educating people in personal conversations. It doesn't have to be full-blown like speaking engagement,
Right.
because not everybody's comfortable with that, including myself. But I can talk to my friend about this issue. Something that I read about. What do you think about it? Just have a conversation, and maybe that would open up their eyes to what's really going on. Because I have this conversation regularly with people who just mention it, or a lot of times abortion issue is seen as just a purely political issue, but it really is not a political issue. It's primarily life and death issue of
Right.
people.
It will then have political ramifications, right?
Yes. Yes, definitely. But it's just that for, especially in a pregnancy center work,
Right.
we're dealing with people who are going through something really terribly hard.
Absolutely.
And people can say, well, I support or I oppose abortion, but have conversation. What is it that's making these people having a hard time? It could be other social factors that it can be addressed, or they just may need a friend,
Right.
which we often see too.
Yeah.
So have conversation. If you know and have conviction, just do something about the conviction to the people that you know.
Well, and the fact that that professor invited you, I mean, look at the fruit of
Yes.
such a simple act of just inviting someone to come,
Right.
even though that wasn't like the one water, there was a lot of different things in your journey. But I mean, it was a simple act that that person made, and it helped put you on the path that you're on,
Yeah.
and look at the fruit that has been generated, from that one little act, So I think that's pretty cool. Well, now what would you have liked your old self to know? I mean, maybe even, which is fascinating to hear about what you were saying about your time in South Korea versus here, which is sad that you feel, it's a sad reflection on America that it's like in South Korea, it wasn't talked about. And then in America, it wasn't really talked about either, But, what would you have liked to have known about the pro-life cause or about abortion, back when you felt otherwise?
I think what really wish I knew sooner was that it was really affecting people, probably people that I know. Yeah. It's just not talked about. Sometimes people who have gone through abortion, they're dealing with shame. and they're dealing with just heartache that they haven't spoken to anyone. So I wish I knew that it was actually affecting people that I knew,
Right.
or would likely to affect people because of how massively happening
Right.
in our country and globally.
Sure.
Really. So I wish I knew that it was prevalent.
Right. You could have helped, because somebody who had gone through it and didn't know who to talk to, and they're kind of hiding that pain inside.
Yeah. And I think even people who are kind of opposing our work, a lot of people want to be helpful to other people.
Yeah.
So just knowing how prevalent it is, and I don't know, that's just personally, I think that would have really helped me.
Yeah.
To really care, to look.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing that. That's insightful. So you were sharing that, when you started talking with the youth group members and then you were looking for resources and support, you got connected, learned about pregnancy centers. Well, so why pregnancy centers now? I mean, you run a pregnancy center. Obviously, you see the importance of pregnancy centers. So what is it about the pregnancy center that, makes an impact, or why is it important for you?
Yeah, so pregnancy centers are designed to help pregnant moms. And that's their way of saving babies, because a lot of times moms are looking for resources that they don't know. And a lot of people who are even in churches don't know what kind of resources are out there that could be helpful for moms who may be considering to have a child. And a lot of times they don't want to come to church to talk about it. So pregnancy centers are uniquely positioned to help pregnant moms, and especially for unplanned pregnancies. But also they know they have the resources, because a lot of times people who care about this movement want to help pregnant moms donate baby items to them. So they have the resources. I feel like pregnancy centers are kind of expert in helping pregnant women.
Right.
So and people who want to make a tangible difference in like individuals' lives locally, I think pregnancy centers work is important in helping that. Yeah.
Well, and I love when I've come to your center before and toured and visited, and you have the big room, which you have a name for it, where you keep all the supplies.
Village shop.
The village shop. Okay. That's beautiful. So, and it's, you have baby clothes, baby supplies, cribs. You got the list, everything, right?
Yeah. So the village shop, we started actually in 2022.
Okay.
Before, we were actually giving out a lot of baby items, but after Hurricane Ida, we were getting a lot more donations from just community who want to help moms in need. So we started this shop, and it has all kinds of things: cribs, car seats, bassinets, pack and play, stroller, formula, baby food, clothes, anything that you need. And we actually have an inventory system that we track, and it runs kind of like a retail store.
Okay.
Because we have so many different kinds of items. But those items were for the moms who are in the program who want to keep their baby and need resources, and they're open for moms in the program to receive support every week and every month. So our center is big on building a relationship and be there consistently, because I think a lot of times people think, oh, your one-time support is not going to be really helpful, but we are about helping them and kind of give them autonomy. They come and shop. We don't charge them, but they are able to pick out what they want, and we have items up to stuff for toddlers up to 4 years old, because that's who we serve. So if a mom has children under 4, they have 3 children, they can get items for all 3 of them. So we named it Village Shop because it is run by donations, and the people are really giving and generous, and we want to be generous to our moms.
And just make sure people know you don't charge for a single service that your center provides.
Everything is 100% free.
That's amazing. And the abortion industry certainly can't say that about what they're doing. Y'all's work is, I always say, is love in action, because you're there for her, you're there for the children, and no matter what, you're there for that mom, and that's beautiful. That's great. Well, what are there any stories, without getting into someone's personal identity, or are there stories that you feel over your time there has helped, I don't know what the word is, but, show what some of the impact that your center has had?
Yes. So the stories that keep coming to my mind when people ask like what you're doing, what we are doing, is I noticed that we have clients who want to keep their babies and they are very excited the first time that they find out about pregnancy, but their support system and their partner or their family is not excited, and they are more about discouraging the continuation of the pregnancy. So even to a point where there's a lot, the mail-in abortion
Right.
is a real thing, so people are able to get it, and there's a pressure going on. But the moms want to keep the baby; they are excited about their pregnancy. So we were able to help them choose life, and we are the ones who can step in and say, "Hey, we will be here to help you." And also give them space where they can actually not being afraid, not being judged, and assess their situations and really see who can help them in their own support system. Sometimes when you're scared and panicking, like let's say your partner doesn't want you to be pregnant, but you are already pregnant and you're sad and you can't think anything else other than the fact that your partner that you trusted is not someone who's going to be there for you and your child. So, but they might have some other people who can help them and be the support. So we give them space, and she's able to think through her options and choose life and find the support. And in that process, we're there to like kind of guide them and be the encouragement that we can be, while giving the tangible resources like car seats and crib and things that can fill the nursery.
Yeah, and the emotional support that you provide is
Mhm.
just as important many
Mhm.
times as that,
Yeah.
well, those physical resources that you're still providing. I mean, that is heartbreaking to hear about a woman who is excited that she's pregnant, but then her partner is either encouraging abortion or in some cases maybe even ordering abortion pills and almost compelling or trying to force her to do that as well. I mean, just think of the stress and the challenge that she finds herself in, because she wants to continue the pregnancy, but such a loud voice is in her ear, That's got to be really tough. And then y'all being there, so important. You're there for her, encouraging and supporting her.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, what is it that if someone out there doesn't know anything about pregnancy center, or they have preconceived notions about what a pregnancy center is, I mean, what do you want those people to know about what pregnancy centers do and the impact that they have in the lives of real women and children?
That's a good question. If I had to pick one thing that I want the world to know about pregnancy center work, is that our motivation is just simply a desire to help women and children that are in need. We are not profiting off of them. We are not charging them anything. The resources that are available for them are all free and given from the people who, pro-life people who want to help moms and babies. So I want people to know that that it is purely out of desire to help people.
Wow. And y'all right now, I mean, you're the only pregnancy center on the West Bank, of New Orleans. And y'all are key because you're there for, that's a huge number of people on the West Bank, like y'all are the resource there and the support there for all those women.
Yeah.
That's really important that y'all are there. And I think it's just like one of the greatest hidden secrets of America is the thousands of pregnancy centers that every day are supporting moms. Again, no charge, just full support there for them, walking them through it. It's just one of the hidden secrets, and one that people really need to know across our country. Well, how can people, if people are out there hearing this, and how can average people, I mean, not everyone is going to do what you're doing, or maybe even go volunteer at the pregnancy center, but how can they help a pregnancy center like yours, whether it's yours directly or it's another one wherever they live? Because usually, at least in Louisiana, there's one pregnancy center in most communities,
Obviously, if you are not in a place to volunteer, we do need volunteers everywhere.
And what does a volunteer do?
It can look like for us, the village shop, for example, you can sort and organize donations, count donations because we receive donations in order to distribute them to clients. We need to sort and organize, and that's something that anybody can do.
Right.
Not technical. But what we need is your willingness and time. So that's something we can do. There are some other ways that people can volunteer. And it would be different from different centers, but most centers that I'm aware of, they all have something for baby items that they can sort and organize. That can be a huge help to have consistently. But if you're not in a place to volunteer and give your time, you can also I think it's just important, the education piece. That you can talk about pregnancy centers, be the person who learn about the pregnancy centers, what kind of services your local pregnancy centers offer, and be the person who can educate other people. When somebody's looking for resource, be that person who can give that information. At least have a phone number or know the business hours so you can make the referral and moms can come. Or if you can volunteer one time, maybe be that support person to the pregnant woman who has shared that she needs a resource. Maybe come to appointment with her. Be that encouragement to the person. So I think key in educating is really listening. Look around and see who's in need, and be that person that other people can open up and ask for help.
Right. That's good. Well, and I'm sure if someone's in a church community and, one thing is the church community sharing the word that let's say, obviously if someone's in Shreveport, they're not going to talk about your center, but they're going to talk about one. But if someone has a church on the West Bank, for example, they need to be putting information out and telling people that, hey, look, if you know anyone who finds themselves in unplanned pregnancy or is pregnant or is parenting and needs support, let me tell you a little bit about the West Bank Pregnancy Center and all the great resources and support they offer. To me, that's a way to get that word out. You agree with me on that?
Yes, definitely. Churches are a great place to educate the public about church members,
Right.
about the work that Christians are doing or pro-lifers are doing, to share the information. Because even though when someone's going through unplanned pregnancies and they're not likely to come to church to ask for specific help about that because they might not be wanting to talk about their pregnancy. But if the churches are proactive in sharing information that they are partnering with pregnancy centers or they have resources for unplanned pregnancy and just give that information, then when they need that help, they may be able to find the help they need.
Right, absolutely. Well, and I know that everyone listening, especially for those listening on the West Bank, they need to be, and I'm giving you this plug, not you, but they need to be supporting your center as well. Because, basically, I would think that every pro-life person who lives on the West Bank needs to be supporting your center because you're doing, in a sense, the work of that community, on their behalf. So of course people outside of the West Bank as well, but your work's so important, and there's a lot of great, wonderful people on the West Bank, and I hope that they support the work of the West Bank Pregnancy Center so that you can help more, you can reach more, you can do more advertising, because I'm sure it's always a challenge to make sure people know that you exist, right? And these days with digital marketing and everything, it takes more and it takes a cost to reach people so that they know about you. Because there may be people in your community that need your help, but they don't know about you, right? Yeah, have you experienced that where you just find that there's a gap between that people just don't know enough about your center?
Absolutely. I've been there 4.5 years, but my center's been there for 30 years on the West Bank. And from the day that I started and until this day, I'm hearing from people who are on the West Bank, I didn't know you existed. So I know we have to, we need some help in that. People need to find out about the help is there, and when they're going through a hard time, that they can always come to us for help.
You think after 30 years, people would know, but maybe in your time, everyone will know that y'all are there for moms.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
That's great. Well, I appreciate you being on with us today, and just thank you for your work. You're making an impact in the lives of mothers and children. You're making a difference. Your center's making a difference, and just thank you for all you're doing.
Well, thank you for having me and being able to share about my story. It's just a privilege. I've always wanted to share about my story to people because there could be a lot of people who are on the fence about what is it that pro-lifers are doing. Really, like the work that we are doing as a pregnancy centers cannot be done apart from the supporters. So, and even the bulk of operations, like we have a lot of volunteers that come every week just to serve. And without them, we can't do the work that we do. So,
So it takes your village, right?
correct.
It takes your supporters, your volunteers, yourself, any other staff, volunteers that y'all have. It takes
Right.
everyone to be able to reach, to serve, and to uplift somebody. And
Yes.
and hopefully you're going to see one day people who've been impacted by your center come back one day and donate or support.
We actually do see them.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, our clients bring stuff back when their children outgrow things and they want to help other moms. So it's a really beautiful thing to see. It's maybe hard to see, but it's a micro scale of the culture changing. They're life affirming. They want to help other people who are in need. And you don't have to have a lot to help people. You can do something, even small thing, and it's just beautiful. And I actually had a privilege last year to see someone, a baby that was rescued from abortion and got adopted, and he's now a father of 2 children.
Wow.
At the time, he was expecting when I saw him, and his testimony was really because he didn't have that growing up, other than until he got adopted, and his adopted parents were so loving, and that's what he wants to be for his children. He wants to be available, present as a father, which is a huge, in our culture right now. So it's just beautiful. And we also see clients, former clients, bring their family members for help because they know the resources are there and they have received the support. So it's just beautiful to see some cultural shift in some people's lives. Maybe not everyone, but
Sure.
some people's lives.
Well, that's beautiful. And I think that's got to be the best affirmation of the work of your center. If a former client brings somebody else to the center and for help and assistance, because I mean that's the greatest sign that they benefited from it. And and that story of the man who was adopted and that's one of the most beautiful things that we don't always see, but it's the generational impact of the pro-life movement and the cause is that, we forget that we're not just saving a life, we're really saving a generation because that man has children and those children will have children and so on and so forth. And that line could go on perpetually. And the impact that one person made in helping to save that baby's life, we'll never know the full impact of that decision, that person being involved. And that's the thing, your center will never know the full impact of the impact that you're making in people's lives.
Right.
Yeah.
And the people who are supporting us don't know what kind of impact they're having. I actually run into a child that was saved 10 years ago in a place that I wasn't expecting. And it really dawned on me last year. Wow, like if there are 1,000 babies that are saved, and I don't even know if I'm encountering them because I don't know them. But because our center's been there for 30 years, like we are seeing multiple generations of people.
Well, and there could be people that your center helped, but they may have not stayed and gone through your whole program. They kind of, the initial crisis maybe was addressed and dealt with. And, they might not even have come back and shared, but they received help at the moment they needed help. And that is, and you never know. You could be, you could be in the grocery store in the checkout line and the person next to you, their life was saved because of your center.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing about like our volunteers. They're not asking like who's coming here and what. They know the people that they're serving every week, but at the end of the day, they're there to just help. Just like the pregnancy center, like I said earlier, we are here to just help people. We're not looking to meet them later. It's great when we see them, but yeah, we're here because we believe that helping people is what we are called to do.
Very good. Well, Yana, thank you so much for being here. And everyone, make sure you check out the West Bank Pregnancy Center, support them, learn more about their work, get involved, volunteer with their pregnancy center. Just to remind everyone that in January, Louisiana Raised Life has a bunch of things happening, from our Lafayette and New Orleans Pride at Pro Life Gala, our life marches across the state, 5 or 6 of them across the state, the March for Life in DC. So check out our website, prolifelouisiana.org. Check out all of our social media as well. And thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to our guest, Hyuna Franklin, for joining us as well. And thanks everyone for being pro-life. Have a great day.